What's up? Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I like that green.
You know, a little something. Been running around today. It's been
You
a little
know,
crazy.
you're doing the bright colors today. Hey, Nikki. I see everybody coming on board. Hello, everyone. So much for joining. Tell everybody, tell all your men, all my men, y'all come on and listen. Of course, ladies, you can stay here as well. But we definitely are speaking to our men, our kings today. So, do me a favor. Spread the word. Spread the word. What's going on, brother?
Hey, man, I'm winning. How are you?
Yes, I'm winning as well. No complaints. No complaints.
Good.
So,
good for you.
Everybody, I'm going to get started real quick and tell you guys that, hey, I'm Tasia Grant. I know it looks like Tasia, but I promise you it's Tasia. Just, my mama, she said it's pronounced that way. So,
Listen, mamas ain't never wrong. So,
That's
mama,
right.
let mama
That's
be mama.
Right. Thank you so much for joining us for the show Still Standing. These stories, these conversations are inspired by my forthcoming memoir entitled Still Standing. And basically, these conversations are with people that I consider my kindred spirits who have gone through very similar trials and tribulations that I finally have had the courage to share, that I'm going to share in my memoir. And I think it's really important, just like the purpose of my book is to share that you're not alone, that many of us that you probably wouldn't even, you all will be really surprised that so many people, including myself, have been through some of the things that they've actually gone through. And I know that many of you out there a lot of times feel like you're alone in your plights. And these conversations have revealed that you're not, and it has allowed people to be vulnerable, and people that typically don't show their vulnerabilities, they have shown their vulnerabilities. What's up, T. Campbell? But yeah, we want you all to open your minds and your hearts and to listen. And for those of you, for the men on here, of course, this is for you all, but for the women on here, please share this with the men in your life, with your men, with your brothers, with your uncles, with your cousins, because this is information that we hope will make you stronger, to inspire you. I'm a mother. I am a child of God. I am an inspirational speaker. I'm a coach, which I love doing. I coach in acting, but I also coach in life. I coach in interviewing, helping people to move forward in their careers and to progress. That's my goal. My goal is to live out my purpose, which I feel like my purpose is to help you be better as I continue to strive to be better within myself. And so I'm hoping that these conversations will contribute to that, contribute to our growth and our development and us being better people. Again, I am so honored to have KD Bowe on the show. You all probably know him best from Praise 102.5. He's a radio personality, but he's so much more than that. I had the pleasure of meeting him for the first time. I don't even know if you remember, KD.
But I remember.
Yeah, we did a voiceover for Kanique Sky's play. Me and Mike Singleton and Diesel Madkins. We recorded a voiceover for her play, the commercial, at KD's house. And that's when I had the pleasure of meeting him. And his energy has always been wonderful and positive and very giving. Ever since then, nothing has changed. And one of the things that y'all know is I only bring people on here that keep it 100. Because I don't know no other way. Like I'm just me. What you see is what you get. And so my guests, they're like that. So I bring people on here who gonna give it to you straight, no chaser. Right. And who aren't afraid to reveal who they really are. And if it means, you've seen people on here who've been fighting back tears and they end up crying, and that's okay, because guess what? You're human. And that makes me uncomfortable when you are in a place of trial and tribulation and it doesn't affect you. Because that lets me know, okay, then we definitely need some work here.
Right, what's going on? Right, what's that? What is that about?
Exactly. So KD has the energy. I watch him from knowing him personally, but also from just watching him. I know he delivers that and he gives that. And I expect the same thing in our conversation, that you all will get that from him as well. So anyway, enough about me. You all right there?
I promise you ain't no Rona. It's not Rona. I didn't know what.
Wait a minute.
See, the devil See, I knew I wasn't supposed to be messing with these little evil Doritos. I mean, no disrespect Doritos. We can come to you a little later on for some kind of endorsement of sorts. But yeah, one of us must got caught, you know.
What? Why is that the default? Whenever somebody calls, we like, it's no Rona. No Rona.
It ain't no Rona, right? Because the thing is, now in this culture, when you cough, first thing people do it.
Right.
I want you to know I'm good. I'm straight. Rona free.
It's a shame. It's like no cap.
I'm the same way. Get in the elevator, you got the little hacking spirit jump on you. Yeah, either you gonna get off, or I'm gonna get off. But what's not gonna happen? We're not gonna be on this elevator together. That's not gonna happen. No, that ain't gonna happen.
Look, how about I won't even get in the elevator? If they already on there, I'll be like, okay, I'll get the next one. I'll pass.
Right. You look like you about to cough, so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and pass you. Yeah, we good.
No, let you be in the restaurant and you 6 feet apart. They all the way across the room. If they coughing too much, you be like, I feel like the molecules are Right. You start covering up your food with your napkin. Put that mask on in between bites.
Right. Yeah, you tell the truth.
I'm telling you. Speaking of that, how y'all been doing through all this? I mean, with the quarantine and, being isolated, but then also with all the craziness socially and in the news, it's like we already are all kind of suffering mentally and emotionally with being, stuck in the home. But then all this craziness is being thrown at us. How's your household like handling it? I mean, you're a husband and a father, you're an activist, you are a what do we call it? A motivator for all people. But your most important roles are as a husband and a father. Right. And so how are you maintaining, through all of this and having people rely on you?
When I say I'm winning, I mean that. It's like you have to have a whole different perspective about who you are, what you really want, what you really have. Okay. Mm-hmm. And you got to just kind of look at the whole totality of yourself, and you got to tell yourself the truth about it. And I think COVID-19, this pandemic, has caused many of us to determine that I thought I had, if I did have it at all, I don't have enough supplies of it, that gumption. So I had to really have a come to Jesus meeting, and everything in my life got tested. You staying in the house with your spouse, and, you realize, I kind of miss the breaks away from you when I go to work. It's a little break. You can't go to the store. You can't do anything. Nothing. Yeah, man. All of that was a lot. And it is a lot because we're still navigating that. Even now, we're going through this weird place. You love somebody, and it's like, now we at that point where you got to get past the cordialities, and you're gonna have to deal with that thing that you have been able to skirt around, that you ain't really had to deal with, because one or two things gonna happen. Either you're gonna get past it, or you're not. Yeah. And then if you don't get past it, you got to make the hard decisions. So, honestly, that's kind of where we are now, and every day is a new adventure. It's like really this season has been that way. But I will tell you this, that the best relationships, the best skill sets, the best people in general are the ones that survive this part right here. So COVID-19 was one of those things that was testing all of us. And I'll get into it more if you want a little later on. But
I know, like for me, it's like not living with my mate. It's tested us because we don't get to see each other as often as we used to. So you have to get creative with, keeping that alive,
Feel a little fast spirit that jumped up in this call real quick.
The opposite thing, you know what I mean? Well, it's like, you like you say, you appreciate the time, but it's like, dang, it's like the opposite. So you having to figure out ways to stay connected.
Did you hear me? Did you hear that part? I said I feel like a little fast spirit then jumped up in here real quick too. Now, well, come on now, you got to be creative. How creative you got to be?
You know what? I made you blush. You know what?
Oh no, listen. Come on. I'm too black to blush. So we good. But I mean, hey, listen. But you're 1,000% right.
It's
Whether
real.
whether it's down my lane that I'm talking or not, you have to find a way to pivot, and only the strong survive now.
Yeah.
Period.
Yes. Only the strong survive. And I think it's like what you said, where for me, how I handle it is I think of ways that I'm winning. Like you said, it's yes, it struggles. I mean, like I said, I experienced the opposite struggle you. We got to get creative. But guess what? I think to myself, is it worth it? Yes. So guess what? I'm going to keep trying to figure out those ways to keep it until, you know what I'm saying? So it's like the same thing for you all. When you're in the house together, you're like, okay, we got to figure this thing out. Do we want to or not? You know what I'm saying? If you figure out you do, you do what you got to do. And I feel like for me, just like I try to figure out how to perform on my job, even though the circumstances are different and I'm teleworking, I got to figure out how to make it work. It's like the same thing for all of us, how to make it work, connecting with my, not even just relationships, romantic relationships. You know, my kids miss their grandmother. They used to see their grandmother all the time. They're used to the closeness and the hugs. This has been like really taxing on them, just not, and then I worry about them. They're the elderly, you know, they need the affection and the hugs and the love to keep them strong. And it's like they miss that, you know. I worry about my friends, you know, who are single, who don't have no kids or anything like that. You know, I'm like, I pray for them, because it's like for you, like I know they got to fill those gaps too. So I put all that in perspective when I'm like, you know what, I'm still winning. You're still winning. Because although we have to maneuver these obstacles and all that stuff, it's like, man, how blessed is it that we have just those people to have to maneuver and to figure out how to love, you know? So, and we're not gonna even get to this because I'm not gonna give him all this time, but I know your perspective on the political outlook and how it's been affected thing. I watch you, and I love how you're so open and honest about that. And how you're very, you know, you try to keep us in check, keep things in perspective, but we get out of control. You know, I like that you keep a calm demeanor, but firm. You firm, but you're calm with it. And it's like we need that because we have enough chaos. There's enough chaos out in this joke.
You ever been around the girl who got the little struggle ponytail, all right, and she walks up on you and you ask her, yo, can you fight? And she just kind of laughs like, yeah, I do a little something. Or the grandmother who's been cooking for 30, 40 years, all right, and she said, you ask her, yo, can you really cook? I mean, I do a little something. People who are confident in who they are and what they possess, who they be, you got nothing to prove to nobody. All I'm saying is when the time comes, when the opportunity presents itself, if you do not want to experience my magnificence, my marvelousness, my godness, then you probably don't want to be around me because I can't be anything other than that.
Come on.
I do who I be. That's just what that is. So I don't know what made me take that direction, but that's the way I feel. I feel like what's in you when you're squeezed is what's going to come out. Ooh. And, you know, sometimes when I think about protecting my family, and I think about protecting, you know, my sisters and what have you. Again, there's a whole movement on the underground, and we say less about that. That's the name of the organization.
And that's actually going to segue us into what we're here to talk about. I mean, again, what made me curious was I know about your movement, ManUP, okay? But what made me curious is, was there an event or a situation or an experience that happened that prompted it? Or was it just something that a mission that you always wanted to fulfill?
I created what I needed.
Your plight, and then kind of how it came to be.
Yeah, I created what I needed. And so as a young boy, coming from a really tough home, mom and dad were in the home, but sometimes mom and dad being in the home sounds good. It sounds better than what it can be. When you are not healed and when you have your own wounds, and my father was one who, he had his own level of wounds. When I talk about him, I must first of all say that when I think about the epitome of strength, I think about my dad, because he was there was nothing that he couldn't do. I remember, and I keep going to this story. We bought a television for the first time. It was a color television. You know, I would watch the Dukes of Hazzard and the Incredible Hulk and all that stuff like that, and they would say, "This green monster." Well, you know, what you mean green? He looked gray on my TV, but then we got the TV. It was a color TV, and I'm like, "Dang, Credible Hulk!" I said, "Credible Hulk is green. He's green." You know, so we watched it. One day, the color TV just broke. I don't know what happened. My dad fixed the color TV. Now, granted, he didn't know what he was doing, but he fixed it. So my dad was a jack of all trades, could do anything. He built a whole engine to a car in our living room, which was weird because you couldn't get it out without tearing down the door frame to get it out. But he did it inside the house. I still don't know why he did that. In the living room.
Wow.
He was a milkman. He was a carpenter. He was a mechanic. He did it all. And so he had a 7th grade education.
I call that a hustler.
Yeah, right. He's a 7th grade education. He and my mom had 7 kids. I say 7 because the first one was stillborn, but you know, 6 kids.
Absolutely.
And a 7th grade education. But he had wounds from his past where he saw physical abuse with his mother and his father. But he didn't, you know, he didn't physically abuse my mother. Right. But yeah, he did what he called parenting to us. And so we had wounds. And I felt like growing up, I had so much animosity and I had so much angst and I had so much anger. Because honestly, all I really needed was a man, because I wasn't a bad kid. I just needed a man to be able to say, "Hey, I've been where you've been. I know what you're going through. Let me holler at you real quick. Let me tell you what's going on." Somebody that wouldn't judge, that wouldn't bash, and they would kind of walk you through it. And I didn't have that. So as I got older, I made a plethora of mistakes, stupid stuff. And so as I came more into who I be, I realized, wait a minute. I'm running into more guys that are like this. They got mother wounds. They got father wounds. Okay. They got sins of the, you know, father visiting, you know, the sons, all of that. How do you navigate it? And that's how ManUP community came into existence.
I'm telling you, it's interesting. You started off talking about, you know, I grew up with 2 people in the home, but you put in perspective kind of how I feel about it. I did too. Initially, but it wasn't healthy. It wasn't a great 2-parent household. And so for me, I feel like I wasn't in a better situation with 2 parents in the household with so much toxicity. You know what I mean? And to your point, my dad and my blood dad and my dad who raised me, they had so many issues that they brought it into the household. And you know, and so for me, I know that I didn't have a good image, a realistic image of what a healthy relationship looked like, or what a healthy marriage looked like. So it was like I actually was one of those kids was happy when my parents split, because I was like, for me, I'm like, I don't like what I'm seeing, and this don't feel good. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't feel good. It was the facade that we showed, that they showed on the outside to the world. It was a lie. And like me, I'm like, that's not the image that I want to give, you know? And I kind of took that, you know, with me. And I feel like you as people, we have the responsibility, and I'm so glad that you're doing this, for us to heal ourselves, even for us. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I'm not with their father, but at the same time, he still has a responsibility to them. So he has to work on him so that he can be the best example of a man for his son outside of me, whether I'm there or not. I have the responsibility to be the best example as a woman for my daughter. You know what I'm saying? Even though we're not together. And also, I have the responsibility to present the good example of my son, what he should look for in a woman. You know what I mean? Showing him what he should look for in a woman. And same thing with my daughter, you know, and the same thing of showing them like healthy love. So I get that. So with that, you said it started with your childhood. When did you come to the revelation? Like you said, you went through what you went through, but what was your aha moment that said, you know what? I have to help other men. I got to do this.
Well, I mean, I got married at 30 nothing. I got married at 21. A
Wow.
virgin, in the country. Yeah, in the country, and raised in the church and around family. So I got married. 2 weeks later, I moved to Atlanta, and that was a whole paradigm shift. And I made an insurmountable amount of errors, mistakes, lapses in judgment, because I was still growing up. And I didn't really have anybody, because here's the thing. It's easy to feel good about you being a level 7 when you hang around a lot of level 4s and 5s. So I was the big dude on the block, had the education, I was doing well. Oh man, you're way more mature than most people that's in their 40s. And I mean, I'm sucking all of this stuff up in a little small town. Big
Right.
fish, medium-sized fish in a small pond.
Right.
All right. And so what made me really come to grips with the fact that I really don't have it is that you go around other people who are much better, much smarter. And now you're like, oh man, I must have messed up. So
Right.
I wasn't taught some of this stuff. So I made mistake after mistake, and I would run into people eventually when I got into my 30s that said, yo, da 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 da, da 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 da. And I'm like, I didn't know. I sincerely didn't know. And so here's what I said. I said, if I had somebody that I could have told my whole truth to, because I think like this, every man needs 1 of 3 people. He needs a mentor, somebody that he can learn from, he looks up to. He needs a mentee, somebody that he can pull up and make better. But he also needs somebody that he can tell where he really was on Wednesday night. He needs somebody that he can that knows where the bodies are buried. And those people, not for so much for a co-signing piece, but you got somebody that holds you accountable on all different levels. And so you remain balanced that way. You should be afraid of a person, not afraid, but apprehensive about a person who has no mentor, no covering. Or you have a person that is all up here, but ain't nobody following him. You're just a man taking a walk. And then if you don't, and if your friends around you change every year or every season, and you're not really growing, that's a problem. That's a problem. So you got to have, because those people provide us with stability. And ManUP community, you have all of them there. You have PhDs, and you got that dude that just got out from doing a bid, and he really just needs a job so that he can pay his parole and give something to his baby mom. You got a whole bastion of them. And so wherever you come in, it's going to fit for you, because all of us have a certain structure to our voice, and certain structures, like a dog whistle, like only a dog can hear certain frequencies. All of us have certain frequencies based on our experiences that we can speak, or that is in line with our isness. And everybody can't hear that. So somebody that may be attracted to me and hear every word, every syllable I'm saying, that person is like, yo, this man is the truth. And if my frequency ain't right for the other person, you're like, he's cool, but it ain't really for me. Well, then guess what? There is somebody else for you. Bottom line is, everybody has that frequency, but that means everybody's got to tell their story. Everybody's got to tell their truth. Everybody's got to be authentic to who they are, because there is somebody that can hear them, whereas the other person they couldn't hear. I can talk to a room of 100 people. I might be able to get maybe 40%, 50%. But then there are other people you can get the other amount. So that's that piece. The other piece is you can talk at a certain level, and that also hits that frequency. So I can tell you about my success, that hits a certain amount of people. But I can tell you about my failures. I can tell you about how I messed up. That hits other people. You have to be transparent all the way around, and that's what makes us the best version of ourselves.
Yes. It's interesting, because that was going to be one of my questions is, there are groups of guys, I hear this a lot, that men say, you know, I have a hard time building friendships because men are either competitive or they're guarded. They have a wall up against them, you know, between us, or they're afraid to express themselves, or, you know, whatever reason. So a lot of times men are apprehensive to bond with other men because they feel like men don't help other people win. Men don't support each other. Men always are supported by women, but they're not supported by other men. When I try to sell stuff, men don't support me because it seems like they're competing, or they're afraid that have, you know, their woman to have me around their woman. It's like no camaraderie. And one of the things when I think about ManUP, I want to ask you is, for those men who are looking for those types of bonds, and they're actually looking for other men to connect to, and looking for safe places to go where they can show their vulnerabilities, their weaknesses, their struggles, and all that. Is ManUP a place for that? Would that be a place for them to seek that type of companionship?
Yeah. ManUP is.
And I say companionship because it's important for men to have other men in their lives for that purpose. Does ManUP provide that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're finally getting back into the swing of these virtual events. I was in a building phase personally, so I wasn't able to do as much as I wanted to. But December 1st, we're going to have our next virtual event, or our first virtual event.
Nice.
And that's going to, thank you. It's going to open up the portals of a lot of other things that we're doing that we've been working on along the way, but just to reestablish, or, you know, to change the way we've been doing what we do so that it can have a different impact. But let me say this. Most guys talk a certain way. We have a certain isness about ourselves. And sometimes it is understood, or it is judged unfairly, or unrightly, if that is a word.
Okay.
You know, like most men, that sounds like a woman that says what they were afraid to show themselves. They were afraid to express themselves, to tell who they were. No, we don't know. No, we just see through you like a bottle of Aquafina. Every man that I know got that. And you know, you got to pass the sniff test. Most guys. Now, some people, you know, like me, I'm a little more open. I'm a little more transparent. I'm just going to tell you where the spots are already, because I know you're looking for them. Let me go show it to you now real quick so we can get past all of this BS.
Right.
We can holler at each other. And that's just been my approach. And so, you know, I can open guys up a whole lot faster than most, because I'm pretty self-aware, and I know me. I know what I will do. I know what I won't do. And then also, I mean, I'm gifted. My grandmother had the gift of, you know, discernment. My mother had the gift of discernment. So I can kind of, you know, I can see stuff, you know, and then I read body language very well. So it's like, it's little things that work. So I know how to give you what you need. Okay. So that you can give me what I need. And it's not that I'm working you, but I want you to be real with yourself. Yes. So guys got the sniff test, and we want to make sure that you're somebody that I can show the parts of me that I'm not so much proud of, because there are no rewards for a guy that says, ouch. There are no rewards for a guy that says, I don't know, I don't have it, I'm not it. Ain't no rewards for that. Ain't no woman standing in line like, you know, I think I'll have the guy who doesn't know, who doesn't have it, and whose credit is awful. Give me him. That's the one I want. It doesn't exist. So what guys have to do often, we have to front, because that dude is the one that is rewarded in society. And if you are not that dude, then we'll do everything we can to make sure that you know that we either are on our way to being that dude, we got that dude on layaway, you know, or something. We're en route. And so for many guys, it's not that we're trying to be funny, man. It's like, no, man, I don't know you. And if I know you, if I feel like I can trust you, then I'll open up and we can talk. Because what we don't want to do, and there is a competitiveness there as well, is that we don't want to feel as though you are looking down on us because we ain't on your level. Well, the truth is, whatever level you think somebody is on, they got another level at the bottom of the basement too. We're not all on the top.
Okay.
It don't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't care who you are. Everybody, every penthouse dude got some gutter in him.
Okay.
You know, and all it takes is the right stimuli to bring it out. And in my life, many times, one of the hardest things to do is to make sure that I'm living on that penthouse level, but staying in touch with that gutter dude, because he got triggers. He got triggers that will bring out an element of me that will tear down everything that I built on the penthouse level. So you got to give the penthouse dude what he needs to survive, but you also got to give that gutter dude
that's right,
what he needs to survive. And it ain't like both of those persons do not exist in the same, the kid and the king are in the same body. And you got to give the king what he wants, but then sometimes the kid will cry in a way that the king never will. And you got to give him what he needs.
well,
See,
that's
this
what
is a whole thing.
See, and KD, you just said something really pivotal, because that's what I was going to ask you is, a lot of times what stifles men is just what you spoke about. They're so worried about the image of how women, we do that. We put those pressures on men. And because of, there's my coach, AJ, what's up? You know, we do that to them. So I feel like we stifle men establishing these relationships with other men, because men are so busy worried about what we think that it actually hinders them being able to connect with other men. And those are the important relationships. Yeah, the relationship with a woman is important, but you also got to have your like-minded, your brothers, people understand from your perspective. And I was going to say that as a woman, what tips or tools do you always give women to help you all be better men? Like, to support that? Because I'm going to be honest with you. It's like, I think it's our fault. It's society, women, their fault, that makes men feel like they can't appear weak. They can't cry. They can't show their weakness. They can't show their sadness. They can't show their disappointment. They can't show their pain, because they're so fearful that we're going to see them as weak, or not a man, or not a leader, or not standing up. And the problem is when women feel like, he never shows me the real him. I never get to see the sensitive side of him, you know? And I'm like, hey, I appreciate the sensitivity of a man, because I don't want somebody who's completely rigid, because especially if you're going to have any men around you, young men, either your mentees or your sons around you, you're actually breeding that same behavior. And if you're that type of father who's like, stop crying, be a man, you know, do this, I said, then you're actually going to incite that same type of fear in a man that's never going to show. And see, as women, the funny thing is, we want a man to stand up, and we want a leader and manhood, but we also want the side that cuddles with me, that loves on me, that's going to show me, you know, what's wrong. When I ask you what's wrong, like, I really want you to feel free saying that to me. But the problem is men have been groomed to feel like, oh no. And then as women, it's also for us, we don't know how to support. Like, when they finally are vulnerable, we're like, oh, we want to just coddle you all and love upon you, but then we don't want you to feel like we're babying you either. You know what I'm saying? So from a man, we like, tell women what to do, and then tell other men what to do in order to establish those relationships with men. Is so super important.
Yeah. It's about respecting. Great points, though. Great points. And I was about to call. I'm guilty of calling you Tasia, so my bad. Great points, Tasia. So it's respecting what each one possesses. Okay, I'm not wrong because I don't think like you, and you're not right because you don't think like me. I mean, we have to respect what each other has. It's like parenting. If my son does something, and let's say he falls down, all right. So as a dad, I have quickly assessed the situation. I'm gonna give you a real story. My son, maybe he's 14, maybe 13, 14 years old, playing football. And, you know, the coach, he's a little extra, but okay. I mean, you ain't doing too much. because as a dad, I'm never gonna let you do too much to my kid. Like, come on, stop it. So they're out there, and something happens, and the coach maybe didn't play him enough, or the coach didn't. Something happened in which I said, well, you know what? I just watched it, and I said, I'm gonna deal with it. I'm gonna deal with it. That wasn't enough for my wife at the time. My son's 18 now, and so here I am walking with her on the field to basically let this coach at the end of the game, fortunately, give her. I didn't know that she was about to get this man a piece of her mind. Now you gotta understand, I'm 6'4", 250. Okay. And my wife, walking out there. This is other coach who's another man. Now men recognize when most men know when imminent danger is there. That's why if I look in your eyes, you can tell where I am, and you know how to move. So my wife was coming so strong, and every now and then he would look up at me because he knew I was with it, and I had to keep my face straight, my face straight. But I wanted to say, sit down. I wanted to tell my wife that but I know that's her baby, so so he's looking at me, and so I could tell at a certain point he was like, listen, you gonna tell her to calm down. Put some lotion on her tone,
right?
Or I'm gonna have to unsheathe all of this because they ain't doing what you're not gonna do. And we had the biggest argument about that because, so you gonna tell me to calm down? He never said it. I looked in his eyes, I could tell.
Right.
He said, so she got upset with me. You gonna tell you? So you gonna protect him and you're not gonna protect me? Well, guess what? You were out of pocket, man. Yeah. I'm a ride or die with you. Let's try to hopefully we focus on the ride, and we don't really necessarily want to die. But to your point, I mean, there are certain things that men will do that women will not do, and vice versa. And it's about respecting the other side. Right. Now, just because I'm a little harder on my son, it doesn't make me any more wrong than maybe you who are a little too soft on him.
Right.
Like okay, my bad. I'm softer on my daughter. You're harder on my daughter.
Right.
There's nobody right. There's nobody wrong. We are who we are. And when we work together, that's what makes it work. Now, I won't use the words like women's fault. I personally just not going to have those sweeping generalizations. Number one, because I don't believe it. What I do believe, though, is that when you have somebody that is making sense, you listen to them. It doesn't mean you have to obey. And then the other thing is this. Stop expecting compliance. This is a grown man. This is a grown woman. You can't expect, well, we're talking about men, you can't tell a man, because you're not his mom, unless you are his mom. You're not his mom. You can't tell him what to do. You can suggest. And so, I remember one time we were having a tete-a-tete, my wife and I. And so it was, I was asking her, she was distant, kind of cold a little bit. I'm like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So I said, hey, what's going on? You good? Yeah, I'm good. All right. Well, talk to me. Rubbing her shoulder. Talk to me. Tell me what's going on. No, I'm good. I'm straight. All right. Well, I'm going out here, and you sure you good? Yeah, I'm good. I'm all right. I'm good. Just kind of answers getting tighter and tighter.
Right.
So I get out to the patio, and I get this long text. Should have done. And I'm saying, ma'am, if you had made that request when I asked, it would have been received differently. Mm-hmm. But now it doesn't feel like a request. It feels like a reprimand.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I hear you.
It's important to respect who we are. So if a man says to you, and I hope I'm getting your question, if a man says to a woman, hey, tell me what you need, the retort cannot be, I shouldn't have to tell you.
Right.
If I'm asking you, you do have to tell me.
Right.
Tash, I'm different about this. And I know everybody ain't going to agree with me on this, and that's fine. I feel like when relationships break down and there is some kind of improprieties that happen in a relationship, the first place I believe you should look to is the part that's supposed to be the most sturdy. In other words, if this is going to be tight for a lot of people, but this is just how I think. If my wife, God forbid, has a relationship outside of our marriage, do you know the first place I'm gonna look is every request that she made to me? Did I listen? Did I come? Did I show up when she told me she needed me to show up? If I didn't, if a person says to you that you provide them with something essential, like oxygen, all right, or my faithfulness, I'm gonna say oxygen. Either one of three things will happen. I can ask you for it, you give it to me, we're all happy, we're breathing, we're good.
Right.
You don't give it to me, and I die. The third option is this: you give it to me, yet I'm still living. Now the thought is, so you didn't need it as bad as you said you needed.
Oh,
Could have been, or giving you oxygen.
your
Where are you getting
sound
oxygen
keeps going
from?
out a little bit.
Oh, I'm so sad. Hold on, let me take these things out because we're not gonna miss this. Hold on, let
No,
me
I
take these
missed it.
earbuds
Yeah,
out. But we're not gonna miss this. Hold on,
okay.
hold on for a minute.
I can hear you just fine.
Can you hear me that good?
I surely can.
That means this, that either if you put me in a box and you say, I'm not, if I say I need oxygen, you put me in a box and there's no oxygen, one of three things is going to happen. Number one, I'm going to die. Number two, well, you open the box, give me some oxygen. Or number three, I'm still in the box, but I didn't die. So it makes you wonder, well, maybe you don't need oxygen. Or who's in that box giving you oxygen?
Woo!
Okay. All right.
Come on,
So
somebody.
it's important for us to sometimes we got to listen to what they say. And if he's saying ouch, you need to listen. And when he tells you what it is, or when something happens, you got to first of all see if there's any level of slack that you had. Because I'm gonna tell you something. If it's your responsibility to feed that man, and you close the kitchen, I'm not even talking about monthly cycles and sickness and I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you routinely keep the kitchen closed.
Whoa.
What do you, I'm not telling you that you caused it. I am saying that you do contribute to the chaos that's in your situation.
Yeah.
So I think that what we have to do, we have to be grown about our situation. In relationships, you got to be grown. And if I tell you I need it, whatever it is, that I think is your responsibility to at least make that a priority. Because getting is one thing, Tasha. Keeping is another whole ball of wax that we rest on getting. But you can't just get. You got to keep. Like some people don't have no keeping power. You got getting power.
Some people
do
not have the keeping spirit. Don't even have the will.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean,
and you said something pivotal. It's like the keeping spirit to be like, what do you need? We're gonna not just what I need. What do you need? You know, when both are giving what the other person needs.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
So, and understanding, you made a good point where understanding what you need as a man and as a woman, that might not be the same thing. You know.
Yeah.
And understanding what that means. What's up, Griff? Griff just came on here. What's going on, Griff?
Hey, listen, Griff will tell you. You know, honestly, I think it's a grown perspective to say that if something crazy happens, at least let's find out what fell or what failed under my watch. Mm-hmm. Like if my wife needs conversations, she needs talks, she needs me to hold her hand, whatever it is, I need to first of all find out, did I do that? It's not to condone anything that might have happened, but let's find out what I can fix first. Because sometimes, hey man, you can't expect philanthropy from people. Let me say this. Don't depend on philanthropy for something that you need. Honestly, do your best to earn it. Point to the receipts. This is what I did to show that this is how I got it. Whether it's a job, a boo, whatever it is, career, whatever it is, keep your receipts. Show your receipts what I did. And sometimes if you do have to walk away, you can walk away knowing that you did your part. You can't be mad if you didn't do your part. Everybody got a part.
But if you did your part, and again, like you said, show your receipts. Like you said, and even what you're asking, like, did I earn it? Well, you know what? I did. or you did. And if the person was not able to deliver, but the truth is, like you said, is that man, when you said that analogy, like if somebody in there giving oxygen, I'm like, come on. Like, because people don't want to address that part. It's either you're going to die or you're going to open up and get the oxygen.
Let's be honest.
Let's be honest. You hope.
Yeah. So the alternative is, hey, when I said I needed that oxygen, either did you not believe me? Because if you did believe me, then maybe you wanted me to die. So I'm still living though. You ain't never thought how I'm still living or why? You know, let's be if we're gonna be grown, let's be grown. And let's have these real conversations about where we are. You cannot put the wholeness on yourself and just sit on somebody and expect them to carry you the whole time. And that's the thing about Man Up. I don't care how strong the woman is, she wasn't built to carry you long term. Now, she was able to carry you for a little bit, and women are going to carry men in their infancy stage or in their adolescent stage. That's just what we do. That's what y'all do. But at some point, the ManUP is what we do with Man Up community, or Man Up certified. The M is for maturity, spiritual maturity, emotional maturity, financial security, psychological maturity, mental security, maturity. Then you got the A. A is for accept responsibility. You cannot determine what happens to you. You can determine how you're going to respond to what happened to you. You got to accept responsibility. The N is for never settle. It's about persistence. If I'm supposed to know it, I'm not going to stop until I know it. If I'm supposed to be it, I'm not going to stop until I be it. If a level 10 is in my future, I don't care if I'm a level 9.999, I'm never going to stop, never going to settle with that. I'm going to where I'm supposed to go. The U, MANU, is for unity. I am my brother's keeper, okay? And the P is for productivity. It's not what you say, it's what you produce. It's not what you advertise. It's not what you promote. It's what you produce. And at some point, if you're going to be a man and you're going to claim or demand man status and man results and man rewards, then no, you got to be able to show them receipts. You got to show them receipts. And real men show up a different way. And they are able to carry a community because of their stability and their strength. And I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about, here's what we say: the strength of a community can be gauged by the strength of the men that are in that community. You will not have a whole bunch of kids breaking into cars, violating women in a community where men have accepted responsibility. They're mature. They don't settle. I am my brother's keeper, and they produce. You're never going to have it. Matter of fact, you won't even have a filthy neighborhood where you got whole well men, because they take ownership and they take responsibility. They accept it for where they are, and they're protectors. They're the poles, or what's what I'm trying to say is they're the what's the thing with the insecurity thing? They're the security of the community. I had something.
Right. Pillars. We hear you and we understand.
Okay.
So, does your organization only focus on building men, or do you all focus on building the boys in your community? Because guess what? I feel like we got to catch them while they're boys, because just because your generation didn't have those tools, guess what? We can catch the next generation. Yeah. And I feel like, is that part of you all's plight too? Do you have mentorship programs where you actually are catching those boys of the young ages, providing them with those tools and to make them the men that you all wished that you were able to start out being, to be there for them, to help them through their failures, their mistakes, and all that, to provide them with a lot of boys still don't have what you all didn't have. The other piece of it is, I know you've heard the term grown boys. We want grown men, but grown boys are basically men who still have that boy behavior. And I'm not talking about, like you said, every man goes through, their child surfaces, and they're still dealing with those things that are broken as a child. But I'm talking about men who are grown men, but they operate as boys. They make boy decisions. They're not stepping up. They're not, you know, and I'm sure a lot of guys, probably include yourself, went through that. Are you all actually ministering to that, trying to catch those grown boys, trying to help them transform into the kings? They're still in prince mode. Are you all trying to help them transform into the kings that we know that they have the potential to be?
Yeah, we don't really have a Save Our Sons kind of program, so to speak. We don't. Let me tell you why. Because ManUP is never designed. ManUP ain't the hero. ManUP don't want to be the hero. We ain't interested in being the hero. What we will do is we will support the hero. And the heroes are the men that we serve. So we believe that the strength of a community can be gauged by the strength of the men that are in that community. So we have created a system where we reward men for stepping up and showing up and being present when necessary. And so we're not going to save your son. You're going to save your own son. We're going to give you everything you need to go get your son. And watch this. Other sons that are in the neighborhood, in your community. So we get guys first, we get them to take a look at themselves in the mirror. That's the first step to do anything with us. You come through ManUP certified. And from that point, then you got to get your family. You got to get your family, because there is damage in many cases that a lot of guys who are not healed, who are not whole, they did. And you got to heal your family. Great. We want to put you to work. We love it. You got a job. First of all, you got to heal your family. Heal your family, get your wife trusting you again. All right. You know, if you got 7 girlfriends, hey man, determine what you're going to do. Because that's too much money. That's too much energy. I don't even know how you even here at this class.
Right. Exactly. And you know, the significant others, like helping them to be good in relationships for going forward, you know?
Without question.
Period.
Without question. So then you get your family, and then you get the community that you're in. I mean, you don't got to get your zip code, man. You ain't even got to get your whole community or your county, bro. Just focus on your block.
Yeah, your neighbor.
Focus on your side of the block. All right, and one at a time. You're not going to overwhelm you. And whenever you need something, then we are here to assist the hero, because you're the hero. Every guy we serve is the hero.
Yeah. The other thing is not even just your neighbor. You got folks, your nephews, your little cousins, you know, those people right there in your family that you can reach out to them and start with them. That, because one thing I know is you don't want it to also them to feel like, dang, like you got me right here. You know what I'm saying? I need a male figure in my life right here in front of you. But you're outside, you're stepping outside. So I feel like it's important to see where there's a need there. And then it's like, okay. I notice my son's, best friend, he's always wayward. He don't have no father. He don't have no positive, role model. And I'm not saying this is not my case specifically, but I'm using that as an example, that if you see that, invite him. So say, why don't you invite your boy over, so he can see those images. If he's not seeing those images, encourage your son to invite his boy over so he can start seeing those images. Things like that. Sometimes you don't even have to go far.
Can you imagine, you ain't hug your own son, but you out here hugging another kid in the streets, man. Your kids be like, man, you fake hypocrite. And one of the hardest things to do is to reset the perspective that you have laid down for your family or those that know you the most. Because, man, you got to eat a lot of crow, especially when you've messed up. You got to eat a lot of crow. You got to really be patient, and you got to really show up as a leader and understand that if the mess up has been over a series of years, it ain't going to be changed overnight. God can work miracles, but sometimes he doesn't change that stuff overnight, because part of the miracle is in the process, because it's not about doing something good or well for a short amount of time or one time. It's about doing it consistently.
That's right. Consistency. Man, I say that all the time. I preach that to my kids. in all my relationships, in friendships, you know, and not just my romantic relationship, but of my friendships and with my children, you know, with your like friendships, when it's like, yo, like, be that consistent friend. Don't be that wayward friend. The people trusting you and reliability is showing consistency. Same thing with your children, is you showing consistently loving, consistently supportive, consistently listening to them. I mean, that's important. People really underestimate consistency in all relationships. On work, on your job. Think about it. For jobs, in order for you to get any type of reprimand, this is coming from an HR perspective, they have to show a pattern of consistency, a pattern of doing this particular act for it to warrant a corrective action. Same thing. In order for a raise or promotion, they're not going to be impressed by one time you doing great on this project or you one time showing up, speaking up. No, they want to see you consistently doing well on the job, consistently coming up with new ideas, consistently coming up with improvements in order for them to reward you with a raise or a promotion. Well, guess what? Friendships, relationships, and all that are the same way. No, it's not that it should be conditional, but all relationships are kind of conditional because people do want to feel like there's some consistency in order for them to reward you with the very thing they want to give you anyway. They want to give you anyway, they just want to make sure that you're going to appreciate it and reciprocate it. Reciprocity in everything.
It's trust. You know? It's all about trust. You can't trust no one. None of us trusts occasional. We do, however, trust consistent. And most of us would rather you be consistently good than occasionally great. Just be consistent. Be consistent.
Yes. Yep. I 100% agree with that. But I love how you said that your job as an organization is not to fix men.
No. Well, we're gonna fix. We're not. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna shift the paradigm, because honestly, there's most of the time the thing that is, I'm gonna say, wrong with a lot of guys is that they don't understand the godness that they possess. They don't understand the king that they possess, and they have identified themselves with their problem and their slip-ups and their malfeasance, as it were. But no, you are not your problem. You're not your mistakes. You are who God authentically and originally created you to be. And all we want to do is remove all of that stuff that's stopping you from seeing it. Because if you saw it, you would show up the same way. If you saw it, you wouldn't expect what you expect. If you realize, if my kids, or let's just say the Rockefellers' kids, and the moment they realize, wait, I'm a Rockefeller and I'm over here living in this I'm living in this little one-bedroom room, man, I'm a Rockefeller. You show up differently because now you got another wealth of resources. So guys just need to come into full contact with the king in them.
Amen.
And the God in them, and that they are. So there you go.
What would you say to if you were speaking to the men out there who we know that also, especially in the Black male community, that Black men have an aversion to even seeking help, whether it's therapy or the support of other men or organizations like yours? What would you say out there to the men who, because that is an ongoing theme, unfortunately, in our male community, where it's just not supported. So a lot of men have a lot of apprehension to even say, hey, I need help. Hey, I need support. I need friendship. I need mentorship. What would you say to them, to those, if you're speaking to those men out there, to encourage them to seek?
That the self-made man is a lie. It's a lie. There's no successful man anywhere that got there by himself. And if you think that it's a defense mechanism. If you can't be around people, you don't do people and what have you, I'm going to challenge you just a little bit and say that that's probably more of a defensive mechanism, because you don't want to be hurt. And I know that's a soft word, but you don't want to be disappointed. You don't want to be disrespected. So you just stay on the island by yourself and you don't really interact with people. But I'm saying that if you are, like I believe you are, reaching for a different plateau of success, yeah, you can't do that by yourself. Yeah, it ain't gonna happen. You're never gonna do it by yourself. You'll be effective, but you'll be effective only to a certain level. Everybody that has had major success, being married for a while, have running a business, the whole nine, they have done it with the help of somebody else. You cannot do it alone. If you think you can do it alone, you're lying to yourself. Yeah. You're not honest with yourself at all.
Yeah. If those who want to reach out to you all, and this is the other thing I want to ask you: is ManUP? Is it just you, or do you have a team? Is it?
I got a team. Ain't nowhere in the world I can do by myself.
That's right. Okay. So you have other men who are you all are working together.
Yeah.
How do they find you all? What if we have men who are like, you know what? I want to reach out. I'd like to be a part of this movement. You mentioned something December 1st. Where do they start?
So do this. Text the word brothers. Text the word brothers with an S to 56525. Text brothers with an S, brothers, to 56525. Not only
when I post this, guys, I'm going to put that on there as well for you all.
So thank you. So not only will you get motivation that comes to us from us regularly, you'll also get the moves that we make, the events that we do. We'll be able to text it to you, and we'll get your email address and all that kind of stuff. But the best way right now is to text the word brothers to 56525. You'll get a confirmation. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. So you can get that message say, this is going to cost you $1 million. Text the word brothers to 56525, and you'll be a part of the team. And you'll be able to see what we're doing.
I love it. Tell me what are you doing? What do we need to be on the lookout for? Stuff that you have going on personally, and then also tell us your social media, where everybody can find you, where to go.
Yeah, at KD Bowe, at KD Bowe. That's where I am on everything except Facebook. Facebook, I'm KD Bowe Show. Okay. But man, I built a company, a digital content creation company called The Content Factory. It's downtown Atlanta. It was a part of where's my confession of faith sheet? So what's funny, I didn't even know this. So this is my confession of faith sheet right here. All right. So every day I read my confession of faith. And let me tell you something. So when I did the logo, I had no idea that my logo was the same colors as my confession of faith sheet. Hold on, watch this. It threw me all the way off. I had no idea that my logo was the same as my confession of faith sheet.
Wow, nice.
See that? And so it just happened. So, and one of the things that I say up there is that I have, and when you law of vibration, speaking things into existence, I have a digital, state-of-the-art production company in the heart of downtown Atlanta. I've been saying that for like a year, and for it to come into fruition the way it has, and I had no idea that it was going to happen like this. This is nobody but God. And so you'll be able to hear you, ma'am, mostly you and your team. You're going to hear from me, because things that we're going to create is going to be right down your alley. And one of the, I'm ashamed to say it, but I'm going to tell you, one of the reasons why I was like, I'm not going to miss this is because I'm going to need you so much. I need every favor you need. I'm going to do it.
Oh, thank you so much. I received that. Thank you for speaking those words. And I pray that it will come right back to you, that I'll be able to pour into you. And that just like this has been a blessing. I mean, like God, like you said, who knew? I mean, quarantine, people have pointed out all the negatives. I'm like, I don't think this even would have happened if it weren't for quarantine. I'd be so busy. I'm doing so much, acting and all that stuff. And it's like, this was where I was meant to be. I feel so comfortable. At the end of these, I feel so fulfilled. I feel it fills me, and I see how so many people are getting filled. I mean, you should see the comments. People on here are like, they're getting fed, and so that's the one thing I've always asked of God. Even as an actress, I'm like, Lord, however you use me and act in whatever capacity, even in human resources or whatever, I want you to get the glories out of it. You know, whatever that means. I know, you know, when I survived my accident, I said, okay, God kept me here for a reason.
Yeah.
So I gotta live out this purpose. So otherwise, he didn't take me out just then. So that means he had more for me to do. So I'm like, I gotta live out my purpose. And so with this, I feel like God has just literally just been making it just easy for me, in the sense that putting people in my midst who I know need to be heard. And you absolutely, no brainer. You're one of the top people that came to my mind, because so many people needed to hear what you've been giving and pouring out. And so everybody out there, if you're not a man, please, the information that, and I'm going to post it on the post, reach out to ManUP. Tell the men in your life. The son, my son is a grown man, so he's a man. He qualifies to seek that.
And for women, I want to say this: for women, you can text the word lifter, because I do a lunchtime lifter that I send to your phone I do that every day.
Yes.
Text the word lifter to that same number, 56525.
Yes, I'll be doing that.
Yeah. Okay. No doubt. But let me tell you, let me read this, because my phone, oh my gosh, I'm so ashamed that I ain't got the plug.
No, it's okay. Plus IG Live, I don't know. I don't want them cut us off. So yeah, please.
So it's like, I said the Content Factory, I wrote this at the beginning of the year. The Content Factory is a fully operational facility in the heart of downtown Atlanta that is one of the primary hubs of digital content creation in the country. I wrote that, and I spoke that into existence. I didn't even know, it wasn't even a thing. I didn't know where it was going to be other than downtown. I didn't have the concept of it. But when you walk into those doors, you're going to know, like, oh my gosh, this is a real thing. Yeah.
Wow. I can't wait. I can't wait to see it. You know, you have my 100% support. So before we go, I want to lighten things up a little bit and play a little game, ask you a couple questions here and there.
All right, I'm gonna try.
See what your answers are.
Okay.
You know, I do. Let me think. I don't want to ask you the one that I've asked the last few guests, because you may have seen it. I didn't want you to get prepared.
Okay.
Okay, so I want you to tell me, name a song that you feel best describes you and why.
Oh, okay. Best describes me.
I know it's a hard one.
Pass. I can't think of what.
Okay.
Best describes me.
I'll ask you another one, which might be a little bit easier. I don't know, because my sister Asia, she was just like, dang, that was tough, but she answered it. Okay. Suppose you were you're a superhero just for a day, for one day.
Yeah. What
would your superpower be? And then how would you use that superpower to impact the world?
Oh, that's easy. Mind control. Oh man.
Oh.
I would wear this current administration out. I'm telling you, boy. Black folks, boy, I'm gonna tell you something. Everybody, ooh, don't get me started. Okay, you know what I'm going with it. Mind control. If I could put thoughts in your mind and get you thinking a certain way, oh yeah, that's a wrap. Oh man, it'd be ridiculous. Black folks, we have made it over.
I know that's right. I love it. You hear that, God? You hear that?
Right.
As long as he uses it for good. You hear that?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, kind of, you know, when my wife be on that, I'm tired. No. I don't know where this energy came from. I know.
Well, I want to thank everyone so much for giving us your time and for listening, taking away these wonderful nuggets. KD, it's been such a pleasure. It's been just better than I even imagined it to be. I know that you're busy. You got a lot of responsibilities and a lot going on. So I really appreciate you just taking out this time for me and for all of the people who are here just hoping to get something from you. You're so inspiring. You're so real. Stay real, man. Stay truthful. Stay always striving, for more. And I love that it's like we know we don't expect perfection from you because none of us are perfect. Yeah. But what I love is that I see you just working hard always to be your best self.
Indeed.
You know, and that's all we can ask is for you to work hard and be your best self.
Yo, Tasha, I appreciate you for extending the opportunity. I really appreciate you. I love you and much success. And I'll be blowing your phone up soon.
Look, you know I don't care about that. I want to leave you all, everyone out there, with something, with the thought to take away with you. If faith the size of a mustard seed can grow into something magnificent, imagine what doubt the size of a mustard seed can grow into. Please replace that doubt with faith. Replace your doubt with faith. God's got you. Thank you so much for joining us. Next week, next Wednesday, same time, 7:30 p.m., we're going to be talking to attorney Erica Monroe, my line sister. She's going to be talking about the challenges and the triumphs in making it in corporate America as a Black woman. She works for a mega organization, a really, really big organization where it's been a tough journey, but she's been able to make so many strides and make a lot of changes and impact for a lot of Black people within the organization. So definitely you want to tune in because she's made it happen, but it has not been an easy ride. So next week, attorney Erica Monroe, and we'll see you all then. KD, we'll be in touch.
Indeed, yes, we will. Have a good one. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye.